little red and black ear means that's a shellcracker, a type of sunfish. About a 5/0 mustad offset circle hook. Using these type of smaller live baits, I will use a smaller hook because the big hooks will kill your bait unless it's a really big bait. Here we have a standard bluegill, and my hook is yet even smaller because it's a small bluegill. If a circle hook works properly on a flathead, you don't need a really big hook if the circle hook works properly, because it will hook it right in the corner of the mouth. I prefer big hooks for big fish when I'm cut baiting, and if that giant hook wouldn't kill my bluegill, I'd use it on it. But it isn't totally necessary. Extremely fresh gizzard shad head, which I don't have a lot of faith in this shallow hot water this time of year, but I'm gonna throw it anyway, because you never know until you throw it. My location is the same as my last video, only a little farther down in front of what is called on avionics a submerged bridge. Target species is flatheads. A blue is not impossible, but I'm not expecting it. 2 live baits on floats, 1 fresh cut bait just to the left. That shellcracker is very lively. I can see my line just kind of pumping constantly. Nothing wrong with that. The livelier the bait, the better. As I mentioned before, this is a high pressure area. It was already high pressure due to its location. Then I made a couple of videos here. Actually, I made several here now. Wintertime blues and a couple of flatheads on live baits. And since then, this place has really had the pressure. We've had the spawn, fish have come off the nest, are locating, relocating, so I should be somewhat getting a fresh batch of fish. Plus the spawn frustrates fishermen, so they lay off the plates for a little while. As a matter of fact, there's some guys that just went down and are catfishing the same bench that I made my last video. Imagine that. After I catch a flathead right here, they'll fish right here next time. I am counting on catching a flathead because I am Catfish Dave. That's a big fish. Feels like a really big fish. I'm gonna get my net out of the truck. He ain't that big, but it's a respectable flathead anyway, out of this place. Woo. Oh yeah. Gizzard shad head, man. I barely heard a little click on my reel. And it's almost like a turtle bite. And then I kind of looked, and my line was just barely going up and down. Very subtle bite. I knew it was either a turtle or a flathead. All right. It ain't a giant, but for this heavily fished, high pressure area, I'm happy with it. Yes, sir. Woo! Well, there was my target species. Anytime you do that off the bank, I'm happy with it. I spent most of the evening chasing hard to catch bluegills and green sunfish, and I'd only had a few, and so I decided I would throw my net right before dark, and I got two really nice fresh gizzard shad. You know, typically during the summer, during the heat with flatheads, I'm not real big on cut bait for them. I do great in cool water on cut bait, but not in the summer. But it was kind of like what I said when I put it on before I threw it out, and that is, you never know until you throw. So I'm glad I threw it out there. For this place, that's a respectable flathead. I've had some very aggressive, hard pulling blue cats in my day, but catching hundreds of both species, flatheads and blues, I would have to say that a flathead, pound per pound, is the hardest pulling of the two fish. Just got the old target fish again, flathead number 2. This one's a small one, on the smallest live bluegill I had. It's a weeknight, so I can't be staying super late. That little small circle hook, man, got him right in the corner. Woo! Feisty little flathead. That's a good fish. That's got to be a blue. Well, I said earlier in the video that when I threw that gizzard shad on, I didn't expect this, I didn't expect that, but I also said you never know until you throw. Woo. You never know until you throw. All right, people, it's a work night. Got to be up early in the morning. But anyway, weeknight trip. I got one flathead out of here the last video, and I was kind of determined to get somewhat of a respectable flathead out of this place, even though it is highly pressured. And I got a respectable flathead tonight. 2 flatheads, a respectable blue. Nothing wrong with that. Appreciate everybody watching my videos. This is a video. There was a fish in the video. That makes it a fishing video. This is Catfish Day with another one. And you never know until you throw.